This is Kim Meyer, host of Choose to Rise. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay.
And this is Elizabeth,
co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Your Life Matters podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mariah White, and I am a passionate pediatric nurse practitioner and fired up health and happiness coach, here to deliver a simple message to you. This podcast is meant to provide a hope and a dream that fuels your soul to dream big and to dream bold and to empower and inspire you to live out your wildest dreams and to grab a hold onto the unwavering truth that you were made for more. What's up, guys? I am so excited. You want to know why? Because today is such a huge day for this podcast. Today is exactly 1 year of the Your Life Matters podcast. I am so humbled, so proud, moved to tears as they're welling up in my eye to just say that. We have been doing this every single day or every single week for a year, just showing up, coming together every single Tuesday and just believing and striving and going after the simple belief that you were made for more and that your life matters. That makes me so excited, so grateful, and I'm so humbled of all of the listeners who have reached out to me, left a rating, a review, and who have just really dove into the community of this podcast. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so happy to announce that we are going to continue to do this podcast together every single week. I just encourage you to keep sharing this podcast, share it with a friend, share an episode, share the whole thing, leave a rating and a review. Let me know what you guys need, but I'm just so grateful. Happy 1 year, Your Life Matters. I'm so freaking proud of every single one of you, and I hope that the growth that you've had over the last year speaks volumes for your life and because you have been listening to this podcast. So, guys, on that note, I'm so excited about not only it being a year, but that today's episode kind of goes hand in hand with all of that celebration. Guys, hear me when I say love cannot be edited. Love cannot be edited. When you sit there in your life and you get to a place where the independent opinions of other people do not dictate your life, you get to live in absolute freedom. And what do I mean by all of that? I mean that, have you ever had those days where you're feeling not like your best self? You don't feel like you look that great. You feel like you're in a slump. You feel like you're kind of down. You feel like you've, gained some weight, or your nutrition hasn't been on point, or you're sluggish, or, whatever the situation is. And you're sitting there and somebody gives you a compliment, and then bam, your entire day is completely changed. Just like that. Your entire day has completely shifted based on somebody else's opinion of you. Now, granted, they're giving you a compliment. They're letting you know that they think you're beautiful or smart or funny or ambitious or whatever the case is. But that one situation, an independent opinion of someone else, caused you to then shift your mindset about you. Guys, you are you, right? And people are going to love you, and people are going to cherish you, and people are going to pour into you, but that can't change or dictate how you feel about yourself. And when you get to the point in your life where Your love can't be edited, meaning you can't be edited. Your frame of mind, the way you feel about yourself, the way you think cannot be altered solely because somebody else has now told you or validated what you feel. Just like, not every day do I wake up and I'm like, oh, I feel so beautiful today. But then when somebody compliments me, I'm like, man, oh, I am beautiful. Like it's going to be okay. Somebody else's opinion shouldn't validate how I already feel about myself. I just have to dig within myself to remember those things in those times when things get hard. So I encourage you to get to that place. Now, I'm not saying every day is going to be great. You're not going to always remember. But when you can get to that place where really, truly people's opinions of you don't matter, you are so liberated. And that goes hand in hand with the negative stuff. And as we shift into that, I need you to hear me. Just because someone has an opinion of you does not mean that it's true. So yes, we take in the good opinions and we shift our mindset and we can get more positive. But the negative opinions is what matters the most, because it takes, for every one negative comment, it takes 100 positive ones to outweigh the negative one. That's why words are so important. That's why words matter. That's why you should be intentional behind what you say and how you do things and how you come across. So when you're sitting there and something is going on in your life and somebody has something negative to say, does it completely obliterate everything that you're going after? Does it completely shift you to feel like you're not good enough, or you're not worthy, or you're not loved, or you're selfish? I remember not too long ago, I had a conversation where I'm all about intention, right? Intention. My intention was to love on that person. And my intention was to express why I did something the way that I did it, and that I was apologetic about it. But the way that that person interpreted it was that I was selfish because it was the wrong timing and everything. So for I would say a good 2 hours, we're going back and forth about how, no, I didn't mean this, and well, I took it this way, and all this stuff. And then by the end of the conversation, I sat there and I literally felt like the world's smallest person, because I felt like such a jackass, if I was honest. This person made me feel so horrible, even though I know my intention was not bad. And that's why I'm so big on intention, because I can gut check myself and say, hey, I apologize that I hurt you. I am so sorry. That was not my intention. If I can say that, then really, truly, nothing should shift my focus off of that. But when I, have an ill intention, or I'm not, I didn't think about it before I did it, and then I'm having to apologize, sometimes I'm just like, man, Mariah, you didn't think that through. But in this particular situation, I definitely thought it through. I definitely set the intention to be in the right direction. Somebody just took it the wrong way. So then I was left feeling like, man, I'm the worst human being. I'm not lovable. I'm selfish. This is why this and this and this is happening. This is why, I'm going to be alone. All these things that go through my head. And then I had to stop. And that's kind of in light of where this podcast episode came from, because we allowed the negative input of other people, the independent opinions of other people, to shift us, whether it's good or bad. And in this particular case, I allowed a negative opinion, somebody else's opinion that wasn't false, because I'm not a selfish person. I, if anything, am very selfless. I need to be selfish in some aspects, because I prefer to give versus take and things like that. But we all have our things, right? But in that situation, I was left feeling so little. And I had this moment of thought, man, I'm struggling with my postpartum depression. I'm struggling with depression and anxiety in general. And then, you have these things that kind of build up. And what especially in hormonal women, especially if you're pregnant or postpartum or still breastfeeding, you're still in that stage of feeling very imbalanced, because your hormones aren't regulated. So for me, normally what I could be not a big deal, deflective, and have that mindset of nobody's opinion of me matters. When I'm tired, when I'm alone, and when I'm sad, that's when those things kind of hit in and break into that wall. So for me, that was a moment of vulnerability for me, where I was more susceptible to somebody else's opinions of me, and then I ran with it. And I was like, man, maybe things would be better if I wasn't here, or maybe this situation, or maybe I really am that crappy of a person. And I literally had to be like, Mariah, the opinions of another person does not need to have that much control over your feelings, your emotions, anything. And this is me being honest with you guys, like being raw. I still struggle with that in aspects of, again, like I'm hormonally imbalanced and frustrated and tired and sleep deprived because my sweet newborn, who I love with all my heart, doesn't know how to sleep all the way through the night just yet. So all of these things kind of take into account, but the biggest thing is that I realized one person's opinion cannot dictate that much over my life. And I want you guys to understand that, because guess what? Love cannot be edited. And that's what I said in the beginning. When somebody loves you and they love you unconditionally, which is the right way that they're supposed to love, agape love, completely unconditionally, selflessness, and just this overwhelming feeling of you matter to me. What you love matters to me. I appreciate you. I love you, even when you're doing something that I hate, even when you do something I don't like, even when you hurt me, even when X, Y, and Z happens, I love you. And that's the feeling of being unconditionally loved. One place that I know that people can understand, and now I understand even more, is I've always been the person that was like, I love so unconditionally and to a fault. And when I give somebody my love, I love them whether they hurt me, they do something awful, because it's like, you know what? I've been forgiven for what I've done. I try to forgive daily. I'm going to love this person anyway because I know that there's good in them, and I see that. And when you unconditionally love somebody like that, like for example, the way that I love my daughter, oh my God, I didn't even think love like that existed. Man, I look at her and I'm like, you know what? Regardless of anything you ever do, I will always love you, and I will always embrace you and be there for you. And yeah, there's gonna be times I'm disappointed or hurt or sad or frustrated, but the love will always be there. And with that, I cannot edit her in any way, because I love her. I love her for her faults. I love her for her flaws. I love her for whatever she decides to do that I may not agree with. I cannot edit her, because that's not love. Love cannot be edited. You can't say, I will love you if you do this. I will love you if you do it my way. I will love you if you become this. I will love you only if you go with what I'm saying. Love is not that. Love has disagreements. Love has arguments. Love has all of these positives and negatives. But at the end of the day, unconditional love can't be bought, can't be bartered, can't be bribed, can't be negotiated, can't be any of the other things that you could possibly think of. It's not a give and take. If you love somebody unconditionally, you love them for them, and you do not try to edit them. You do not try to change them, because if you are trying to edit somebody to love them, even when they're doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing, that's not love. That's not you loving them unconditionally for them being them. And if you have somebody in your life right now that you're trying to mold them to do something that you want them to do, and you're only going to love them when they do it, I ask you to reassess that situation and reevaluate why that person's in your life and why you want them in your life, because that's not love. And if you have somebody who's made you feel like you've had to morph and change and be somebody that you're not in order to receive their love, I need you to ask yourself why you're in that relationship. I need you to ask yourself, if somebody says to you, like a ultimatum, if somebody says, you know, I'll be with you if, and I will love you if, and I will only be there for you if, and I will only stick it out with you in the hard times if, that's not love. That's not somebody loving you unconditionally for being you. Love is hard. Love is difficult. There are times where you're going to disagree. There's situations that are going to be really, really hard to deal with. But that's not love if you are morphing into something that somebody else wants you to be only for somebody to be with you. There are over a billion people on the planet. Somebody loves you just for you, whether it's your faults, your flaws. But I promise you, the beautiful things of you outweigh that, and somebody will love you unconditionally for just being you. No other reason than that. So guys, whether you are allowing other people's opinion of you to edit what you feel about yourself, or you're allowing other people in your life that you want to be in their life genuinely because you love them, and if you're allowing them to dictate how you act or feel or what you put on yourself, I ask you to think about those relationships and ask yourself why. Why are those relationships important to have? Why can't you let them go? Why can't you stand up for yourself and say, no, this is what I believe. This is my value. This is my moral. And if you don't love it, then you don't love me. It's okay to say those things. It's okay to feel those things. It's okay to believe in yourself enough to know that you are beautiful just the way you are, and that love can't be edited, and you are unconditionally loved, and that if you aren't being or receiving that unconditional love by somebody, then that's not the right somebody. So guys, I hope you got some takeaways from that. I hope you felt my heart in that. I hope you feel my heart in this and know how excited and how proud I am to just be here with you at another episode of Your Life Matters. And I am so proud of the fact that we have hit our 1-year mark, and I cannot wait for all the future years to come. Guys, I hope you grab some tangible things from this episode, and just know that you are the only you there is, and the only you there will ever be, and you are absolutely freaking incredible, and that your life